Hari Om. The last we left Vivek Chudamani was at the shloka number 225. Before we could proceed further, the last segment that which we just covered erupts because the student asks the teacher, "Oh teacher, I definitely understand that I am not any one of these five layers: Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, and Anandamaya. And after complete evaluation, I come to this understanding that I cannot be that which is being pointed uh, or that which has been assumed as my self. But having reached there, I feel that it is all empty. It is all shunya. It is all nothingness. How or what is this Atma Tattva if it is all nothingness? And how do I perceive this nothingness? A very genuine question. This particular segment should take away any confusion that this Atma Chaitanya, the self within, is has got anything to do with shunyatva or nothingness. So anybody that is walking this path should not have a confusion as to that this Atma Chaitanya is or can be achieved through any other step. If I reach to that point, or when I reach to that point, there is nothing. But who is that is recognizing that there is nothing? Meaning what? You are there to recognize that there is nothing. So, as long as you are there, how can it be called as nothing? It is not empty. You are there. Other than you, there is nothing. Accepted. But when we say that it is nothing, inclusive of the self, there begins the confusion and there begins Buddhism, wherein their whole premise is on that shunyatva or shunyavada. Recently, I met with someone who was doing a process called Vipassana and said, maybe so, Swamiji, but this initial process of, emptying the mind and becoming empty, I think this method is really good. Let me explain it with an example. If supposing I have to go from point A to point B, and many of me and my friends have thought of reaching that point B from their point A's. Supposing I have to go from Dallas to Houston, there's somebody who has to come from Austin, San Antonio, um Shreveport. So, wherever from different places, we have to converge into Houston. And we all began. We all have to make sure that the car is uh, filled with gas, it is in working condition, and then we start driving. We are all taking definitely different paths so that we can reach there. But if there is somebody who has a good vehicle, a good knowledge of the road, vehicle is filled, the person is putting an effort, and instead of I-45 South is taking I-45 North. And the friends, we have a group call while driving, and everybody gives me the ETA, estimated time of arrival. And one of them says, "Hey, I think I have prepped up everything and I'm driving. The road is also beautiful. And I don't know, my ETA doesn't show me the same. So, where are you heading? What is the road that you're on? I-45 North." And when I ask that individual, what is the first thing that I would say? Stop, take a U turn, and drive down. It'll be a little later than usual, but drive down. That would be the same thing to say, right? But if others jump in and say that, oh, there is nothing wrong, keep going, at least he's driving, he has a good car, and he's on the road, right? That is as equivalent as when somebody who, in the name of spiritual progress, is sitting and doing a lot of stuff, and the direction that is taken is completely way off, is completely different. And today's culture, or the way especially we Hindus are, we would say, jane do, bechara, he's at least on the path, he's doing something, right? Yes, something is definitely better than nothing, but nothing is always better than nonsense. So let us not be in this confusion. Something is okay, right? No, there has to be absolute understanding as to where am I heading. Having reached to this nothingness, shunyatva, if somebody says that, hey, this shunya, uh, there is nothing here. So Adi Shankaracharya ji asked that student very precisely, yes, there is nothing, but you are there observing that nothing. Therefore, you cannot conclude that it is all nothingness. It is not the shunyatvam. And then he continues saying, you are there, you are the sakshi of it. Whatever happens, whatever is moving, interacting, you are aware of every such movement. Therefore, you have to recognize the nature of who that observer is. What is the nature of that who is observing? That who is observing is my true nature. That is what has to be ascertained. So he gives a very beautiful shloka. He says, Jagrat swapna sushuptishu sphutataram yosau samujrumbhate प्रत्यग्रूपतया सदाहमहम् इत्यन्तस्फुरन्नैकदा. It has a very close resemblance to Dakshinamurti Stotram, which is also, of course, written by Adi Shankaracharya ji himself. He says, Jagrat swapna sushuptishu sphutataram yaha asau samujrumbhate. That which is illumining effortlessly, efficiently through Jagrat Swapna Sushupti. Now, one would say Jagrat, yes. Maybe Swapna, yes. Sushupti also? Sushupti, I don't have an experience. How can you claim that there is me in that Sushupti? There is there is no better sadhana than analyzing Sushupti Avastha. Yeah, many would say there is no better sadhana than being in Sushupti Avastha, but there is no better process of evaluation contemplation than trying to understand the Sushupti Avastha. Now, if I have in this room a 24/7 surveillance camera which is recording continuously, it definitely is recording whatever I'm speaking right now. Then, after I'm done, I'll close all these lights and head out. That camera is still recording. But what is it recording then when there is nothing? It is recording the absence of all movements. Getting it? Similarly, in the deep sleep state, the absence of the mind and its movements is being known. That's why when I get up, aham kimapi na janami. There is nothing that happened. I don't know. But you are aware that you don't know, right? That's why when we define what is Jagrad Avastha is when the mind through its organs of perception action is interacting with the world outside. Swapna Avastha is that where the mind is interacting with its own projected reality. In the Sushupti Avastha, the movement or the functionality of mind has come to cease. It ceases to be. But that also I am aware of. That awareness which is there, definitely I can come to a sane conclusion that yes, there is in Jagrad Avastha this conscious principle, this awareness witness, awareful witness. Then in the Swapna Avastha also I can think of it, because when I snap out of it I can see it. Sushupti Avastha also, because that absence of movement I'm able to perceive. Therefore, definitely, I'm not the mind. Therefore, I'm not definitely uh, the indriyas that I am interacting with, because they have also ceased to be. Even that which I call as prapancha, this jagat, is absent, and yet I am there. I am always there. That ever existing principle is called Chaitanya Swabhava, Chaitanya Swarupa. This Chaitanya Swarupa is often misunderstood. The example that is taken, Ghatodake bimbitam arka bimbam alokya mudho ravimeva manyate. If in a pot of water there is a reflection that is happening, and looking at that reflection, if somebody were to say, oh my god, sun is captured in this waters, is as foolish as when somebody says, looking at the large mirror, oh my god, I'm not able to, I'm captured in this mirror. No, you're not. Similarly, all these equipments, sthula sharira, in that there is antakarana like the waters. In that antakarana, in the buddhi, there is this reflected consciousness. As soon as there is that reflected consciousness that is identifying with this body, mind, and intellect, enlivening it in its process. But that source, because of which there is this reflection, that source is my true nature. So beautifully explained. And I'm told this 218 and 219 shloka were very dear and very close to heart of Swami Taponji Maharaj, because he would say that contemplating on it had eased out several things, several layers of understanding for him in his sadhana. So if I am not this Pratibimba Chaitanya, the reflected consciousness, then what exactly am I? Who exactly am I? So that is revealed in the 220th to the 223rd shloka, where the nature of the self is revealed. The nature of self as the drashta, the witnessing consciousness. It just witnesses. Why does it witness? Because its nature is to illumine. Therefore, it is the witness, eternal witness. So nityam vibhum sarvagatam susukshmam antarbahishunyamananyamatmanah विज्ञाय सम्यग् निजरूपमेतत् पुमान् विपाप्मा विरजो विमृत्युः. So in these shlokas, Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya ji very beautifully captures. He says, this Swayam Prakasha, self effulgent, does not depend upon anything, is that which is consistent, permanent, always there illumining. There is no coming and going because there is nothing other than this conscious principle. Therefore, there is no inside or outside. Knowing this alone is Vishokam Ananda Ghanaha Vipaschit. You become, you come to realize that you are Vishoka. And then he says that this nature is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Vishuddham Param Swata Siddham. In the 225th shloka, he says Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. This is taken from the Upanishad. And we had seen elaborately through the Upanishadic statement as to what this particular statement here that Adi Shankaracharya ji has borrowed from. So he says in this particular shloka, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman So Oshnute Sarvan Kamaan Saha. So this particular one is from the Upanishad, and Bhagwan Bhashyakara is validating his statement by taking this statement straight from Upanishad. And it comes in the Brahmanandavalli Taittiriya Upanishad. यो वेदनिहितं गुहायां परमे व्योमन् सो ओष्णुते सर्वान् कामान् सः ब्रह्मणा विपश्चितेति तस्मात् त्वा एतस्मात् आत्मन आकाशः सम्भूतः. And goes on. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Satyam, that which is of the Sat Swarupa, that alone is real. Anything else is just a mere projection on that substratum of this Sat Swarupa. Satyam Jnanam, and it is conscious principle, ever illumining, self effulgent, Anantam, that which is unending. Sukhaswarupa is the only one which is unending. So Satyam Jnanam Anantam is talking about that Satchidananda Swarupa of my own true nature. So far we had studied a detailed description of it in the 17th section of our Viveka Chudamani. We had already seen. So now, continuing, we will be looking into one shloka at a time in Viveka Chudamani. So please join and let us continue the study of Viveka Chudamani, moving forward from the 226th shloka. So see you again. Hari Om.